He taught for 50 years, thousands of students, but he never claimed to be perfect. He said he was still improving. Around 500 BC in ancient China, Confucius walked from state to state trying to share his philosophy. Most rulers ignored him. Most people dismissed him. He spent decades teaching with little recognition, but he never stopped working on himself, never stopped trying to become better. And on his deathbed, his final words weren't about his achievements. They were about what he still wanted to improve. Because he understood something most people miss. That self-improvement isn't a destination you reach. It's a path you walk every single day until you die. Here's what's broken about modern self-improvement. People treat it like a project with an end date. Read these books, take this course, hit these goals. Then you're done. You're improved. You made it. But that's not how it works. That's not how humans work. You're never done. There's no finish line. The moment you think you've arrived is the moment you stop growing. And when you stop growing, you start dying. Confucius saw this clearly. In a world where everyone wanted quick fixes and instant wisdom, he taught that real improvement is slow, daily, and never-ending. It's not about dramatic transformation. It's about small, consistent steps in the right direction, day after day, year after year. For your entire life, he wasn't talking about self-help trends or motivation. He was talking about character building, about becoming a better version of yourself than you were yesterday. Not for applause, not for recognition. Just because that's what a good person does. They improve always. In ancient China, most teachers claimed to have figured everything out. They presented themselves as masters, as enlightened, as having reached some peak of wisdom. But Confucius refused to do that. He openly admitted his flaws, his struggles, his ongoing work on himself. And people respected him more for it, because they could see he was real, not performing perfection, actually pursuing it. He had this concept called the superior person. Not superior in the sense of being better than others, but superior to their former self, someone who's constantly working to be better than they were. That was the goal. Not competing with others, competing with yourself. Yesterday's version versus today's version. Who wins? Confucius broke down self-improvement into clear steps. Not complicated, not mystical. Just practical actions anyone could take. And these steps are still valid today because human nature hasn't changed. Step 1. Know what needs to improve. You can't fix what you don't see. Most people avoid looking at their flaws. They make excuses, blame others, stay comfortable in denial. But Confucius said real improvement starts with brutal honesty. Look at yourself clearly. Where are you falling short? Where are you weak? Where do you keep making the same mistakes? No excuses, just facts. This is hard. Your ego wants to protect you from seeing your flaws. It wants to maintain the illusion that you're already good enough. But Confucius would say that illusion is what keeps you stuck. You can't improve what you won't acknowledge. Step 2. Study the example of better people. Confucius believed you become like who you spend time with. So, if you want to improve, find people who are already what you want to become. Watch how they think, how they act, how they handle situations. Learn from their example. But not just successful people, good people, moral people, people with character. Because success without character is empty. You might get rich or famous, but you'll still be a mess inside. Confucius cared more about building inner quality than external achievement. He'd say, look at someone you respect. Someone who handles life better than you. What do they do differently? How do they think differently? Then start applying those patterns to your own life, not copying them, learning from their example and adapting it to fit you. Step 3. Practice daily. This is where most people fail. They have good intentions. They know what they need to work on, but they don't practice. They wait for motivation, wait for the right time, wait until they feel ready, and they never actually do the work. Confucius said improvement happens through consistent practice, small actions every single day, not dramatic gestures once in a while. Daily discipline. If you want to be more patient, practice patience every day. If you want to be more honest, practice honesty every day. If you want to be more disciplined, practice discipline every day. It's not exciting, it's not Instagram-worthy, but it's how real change happens. Through boring, repetitive practice, until the new behavior becomes automatic. Until it's just who you are. Step 4. Reflect on your actions. At the end of each day, Confucius would review his actions. Where did I do well today? Where did I mess up? What could I have done better? This wasn't about beating himself up. It was about learning. About making sure he didn't repeat the same mistakes. Most people never do this. They just move from day to day without stopping to think about their patterns. So they keep making the same mistakes, keep falling into the same traps, because they never reflect long enough to see what's happening. Confucius made reflection a daily practice. 5 minutes at night, just thinking about the day, being honest about what happened, planning how to do better tomorrow. That simple practice compounds over time into massive growth. Step 5. Accept that progress is slow. This might be the most important one, because everyone wants fast results, quick transformation, overnight success, but real character development takes years, decades, a lifetime. And if you're not okay with that, you'll quit when you don't see immediate results. Confucius compared self-improvement to growing bamboo. You plant the seed, you water it every day. For months, nothing visible happens. You might think it's not working, but underground, the roots are growing, spreading, getting strong. Then one day, the bamboo shoots up, fast, tall, strong, because the foundation was built slowly and deeply. That's how human improvement works. Most of the work is invisible. Most of the progress is internal. You won't see it for a while. But if you keep doing the daily work, eventually the results show up. And when they do, they're solid. Not surface level, real. Step 6. Never think you're done. This is what separated Confucius from everyone else. He was, in his 70s, teaching thousands, respected as a master. And he still said he had more to learn, more to improve, more to work on. He never stopped seeing himself as a student. That attitude kept him growing until his final breath. Meanwhile, people half his age thought they'd figured everything out and stopped learning, stopped improving, got comfortable, and started declining. Because if you're not growing, you're shrinking. There's no neutral. Now let's talk about why this matters for you. Because you probably started strong on self-improvement at some point. Read the books, set the goals, made the plans. Then life got busy. Old habits came back. And now you're stuck in the same patterns, wondering why nothing changed. Confucius would say you treated it like a project instead of a path. You were looking for a finish line, for a point where you could say, I'm done improving. But there is no done. There's only continuing or stopping. And if you stop, you slide backwards. So what needs to improve right now? Not someday. Right now. Be specific. Is it your patience, your honesty, your discipline, your relationships, your work ethic, your health? Pick one thing. Just one. Don't try to fix everything at once. Then find someone who's good at that thing. Watch them. Learn from them. Ask questions. Study their approach. Not to copy them exactly, but to understand the principles they use. Then practice. Every single day. Small actions. If you're working on patience, practice it today. When someone annoys you, when traffic is slow, when things don't go your way, practice. Don't just think about being patient. Actually be patient. Even if it's hard. Especially if it's hard. At night, reflect. How did I do today? Where did I practice well? Where did I fail? What will I do differently tomorrow? Write it down if that helps. Or just think it through. The key is actually doing it. Not skipping this step because you're tired, and accept that this will take time. You're not going to be patient tomorrow just because you practiced today. You're not going to be disciplined next week just because you tried hard this week. Real change takes months, years. But if you stick with it, if you keep walking the path, you will change. Slowly, surely, really. Confucius spent 50 years teaching, 50 years improving, and at the end, he didn't think he was perfect. He just thought he was better than he used to be. And he was still working on getting better. That's the mindset. That's the path. Most people quit because they want instant results. They want to be transformed by Friday. But Confucius would tell you to let go of that expectation. Accept that this is lifelong work, and find peace in the daily practice itself, not in some future achievement. In today's small step forward, because that's all you can control. Today, this moment, this choice. Will you take a small step toward being better, or will you stay where you are? That choice repeats every single day for your entire life, and the accumulated result of those daily choices is who you become. Confucius became one of the most influential teachers in human history, not because he was perfect, but because he never stopped trying to be better. He walked the path every single day, and that consistency, that commitment to daily improvement, that's what created lasting change. You don't need to be perfect, you don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to be slightly better today than you were yesterday. And then do it again tomorrow, and the next day, and the next. That's the path. That's how real transformation happens. Not through dramatic breakthroughs, through small, boring, consistent steps in the right direction. Steps that never expire. Steps that still work today just like they worked 2,500 years ago. Because human nature doesn't change. And the path of self-improvement doesn't change. Only your willingness to walk it. So the question is, will you walk it? Or will you keep looking for shortcuts that don't exist? Subscribe for more wisdom that actually works.